Okay, so the first thing, like how to use this library, probably you knew this, but I'm just iterating through the first step. In three different contexts, Visual Force, Lightning, and Lightning Web Component, you have different tags uh, to facilitate the inclusion of this library. In Visual Force, you use Apex include script, and you can either have the jQuery in static resource, or you can provide us external link. It works in both ways. In Lightning, you can't use the direct link. You had to have the scripts in the static resource, and then you need to link like this resource dot whatever the static resource name, and then it also provides some attributes through which you can insert some controller handlers, so that handler gets called once it loads the script file from the static resource. Okay, so slight difference, and this is just for security purpose. It doesn't allow you to include from the external link. In web component as well, same thing, it follows the same thing. You need to have the static resource, and but the syntax is a bit different. Pretty much it works very similar to component. Okay, so then comes the jQuery itself. So from now on, we don't deal much with the Salesforce related stuff. We will just deal with only the pure Java, jQuery, and all those API stuff. Okay. I hope you have seen like this no conflict
Mm.
in so many places. Do you aware of like do you have clear understanding?
When we have two script calling one script to another script,
Yeah.
and the
Um,
context needs to be in those.
yeah, but let me explain in detail. Then you can check what you understand in this. What I'm explaining is correct or not. Okay. So let's in practical. Okay. So what happens? This is the first point you need to know is when you include a jQuery library into your script, what it does is it populates two variables. Okay, jQuery and dollar. It populates these two variables with instance of jQuery object. If you remember from our yesterday training, I told you jQuery itself is a one big object. Okay, so what it does, it copies that instance reference to jQuery and dollar. Okay, so as of now, if okay, let me give a bit background about this tool. This is online playground. Okay, it has a index.html where I have only one div and a heading tag, and I have a script which is empty at the moment, and I have CSS, and we don't need to worry about CSS because we're not going to do anything with that. And then you can see it's included jQuery library, and it includes a CSS font. I have some CSS. Okay, so in the script it's empty. If I do like console log dollar, can you see it's printed function something. Okay, so this means that jQuery is it's loaded. Okay, so I can't simply do like this because it's not defined, but dollar is something which populated by jQuery. And if I do like console log jQuery, you could see the same thing. So from this you knew from this it understood that these two variables are already populated. Okay, so that's magically populated by jQuery. So in some cases, what happens is this dollar is a special variable. You may have a different library which also uses dollar sign for its own purpose. In that case, you don't want the jQuery to overwrite the dollar variable because you might be using for something else. In that case, what you need to do as a first line, dollar dot no no conflict. If you do like that, then what happens? If you see the next line, it's not printing. It's not printing dollar. Dollar becomes nothing because this statement says that don't assign anything to dollar. Okay, so that's my thing in the presentation. If you do like that, this restores the reference in dollar. So whatever it was there before, it restores. Okay, there is one more API true. If you pass true, Let's see what happens. This true, what it does is it restores all the variables. In this case, all the variables in sense dollar and jQuery. It replaces both. So this is a risky thing. This is a suicidal thing because after that you won't have reference to jQuery at all because what you have done you just restored everything. So after this line you can't use jQuery at all.
Oh,
So this is risky. Then how to avoid this problem? You need to do like this because when you do the no conflict, it returns you a reference. Okay, reference to jQuery. You need to assign that to some variable, whatever you like it. Okay, now you can use that. Got it? So now dollar doesn't have anything, jQuery doesn't have anything, J dollar has the reference to jQuery.
okay. How you say it's not having anything?
I'm sorry. How come I'm saying it's not having anything? Because it's printing empty. One,
Ah,
two, on third line it's printing this.
okay, okay.
Okay, so you got the idea. Okay, so I'm going to comment out as and when we just understood the concept. Okay, the next one is selectors. See, there is like I told you yesterday, there are tons of APIs and tons of ways of doing different stuff in jQuery and JavaScript. But I'm outlined what are the most frequently used techniques. Okay, so in the DOM selectors, there are four ways we can select the tags element. Okay, for that I'm going to write some. Uh, okay, so this does a box with red color. Okay, simple red color box. So what I'm going to do just after creating this, to just to illustrate the selector using a tag name J dollar. So now what we are going to do, we are going to select this red color box using the tag name. Okay, tag name is div, right? Console.log. So if we go the in the HTML, so you can so how many tags we have?
One, two,
One, two. We have two divs,
two div tag.
two div tags. Okay, so that's why when we select based on the tag name div, we get length 2. Okay, so we got two div elements. Okay, this is a way of selecting element with the tag name. So the next one is we have this element which has the id. Okay, so what we can select this div tag using the id. What we do, hash. Okay, we used hash and my div tag, that's the id. Then now we got length 1, so we get only one div tag. Okay, so just to verify it, what we can do, there is one more api, it's called prop. Okay, got red box.
Oh,
So that's the element, right? There's the element red box. Okay, so we are sure that we didn't get this, we got this one.
sure.
Sure. Okay, the second way. The third way, we can select using the class name itself. Sorry, using dot notation, dot class name. Okay, cool. So that's the third way. The one more way is we can use any attributes inside the tag. So for example, in this case, what I'm going to, in HTML, you can add a custom thing, custom add. Okay, like this, some random value. If you want to select a tag based on a custom attribute like this, go here, parenthesis, and just copy paste it. You select it.
Oh,
Okay, the syntax is you need to place the attribute name and you need to cover with parenthesis. Okay, so now we have seen all most common way of selecting an element using these four types. Okay, so this we call as selectors because we're selecting a particular element. Okay, okay, then comes events. So it based on like what happens to those elements. On we have different events like these things when some element is ready, uh, in JavaScript and HTML, the document itself an element. So when the document is ready, we do some actions, right, like that. And there is a on API which is used to attach a event handler on certain events or for certain elements. Okay, then we have trigger. So we will see one by one. This. So let's see what the ready one. Okay, document. So what we could do is we could do like that. So if I do like this, what it does is document is a object you already have in JavaScript, and you pass that to JQuery, and this returns a JQuery object. Okay, so that JQuery object is a wrapper for the document itself, the whole document itself. Okay, now you say when the document is ready, call this function, and I'm going to say that alert. It's refreshed set that's why. So we can change with console document is ready. See, you get to document is ready.
oh,
It's getting printed because this when the document is ready, we are taking these actions. Okay, so when I refresh, you can see this one is getting printed here.
oh. When document is ready, call this function
Yeah,
console.log.
when the document is ready, dot ready. Okay, but you don't have this ready for all the elements because what happens is when the page loads, every element gets ready, then this script gets executed. So okay, so you normally get the chance you have only one option of doing ready with just the document. You don't have any other option. Okay, so then on. This on is like a very generic one. You can attach any event to any elements, and there are different event types as well. So we will see few. So I'm going to comment this. So to illustrate this, I'm going to create. I'm going to create a button. Okay. Going to call this as a big button, and I'm going to break this. Okay. So I created a new button. That's it. Okay. If I go here, and what I'm going to do, this is a header, right? This is a header. To illustrate this, what I'm going to do, when I click this, I am going to click this button.
Ah,
Okay. Okay, to start with, when I click this, I'm going to print a message here. Hmm? So on h1, this h1 dot on click event. Okay, I'm going to call this function. On this function, I'm going to do my action, but for illustration, I'm going to put a okay, and see because this is a h1, since we are clicking it, and this getting called, and we are getting printed. Okay, so this is the purpose of on. So then trigger. So for this, what I'm going to do, illustrate this. I'm going to create a on event for this button. Okay. button, very similar stuff. Click function. So okay, so now when I click this button, it's getting printed. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to refresh this so nothing gets printed. And now when I click this, I'm going to trigger that click onto this button. Okay, for this, first of all, I'm going to comment this button. Okay, because when I click this, I want to call this button and then trigger a click here. Okay, trigger click. Then what it does is when you click this, then this button gets a click, then this gets called. Okay, let's see. So we are clicking here and that's triggering a click here, and that's calling this function, and you're getting this one. Okay, so trigger is used to for normally used to forward one event to another event. Okay, and there is a on like I said, on is a very generic event attaching function. Okay, you attach any events, but there are specific functions like a click, double click, key up, you can use on directly. So instead of doing this, okay, I can do like this. It's same, see. Okay, so instead of using on, I can use the click event directly, and same goes with double click as well. Okay, so now I'm just clicking once, it's not working, but if I double click, it's working. Okay, so then we have key up, key whatever events that has key, everything's related to keyboard. Whatever events that has mouse, that's related to obviously mouse. Okay, so there are some few other events like key up, key down, key press. The difference is key up, obviously when you take the finger out of your key, this events gets called key up. Key down gets called when you just keep pressed to the downmost. Okay, then key down is gets called. Key press gets called at the end of key up. So key up, key press is almost same. Okay,
So
because when you normally key down, you will you ultimately you will anyway do the key uppers.
correct.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Now, if I click once,
yes,
as soon I remove the
F-
key and
finger
press, right?
in mouse,
Mouse,
mouse. Okay,
it will work for the
no,
same.
no, because like I said, mouse events are separate and keyboard events are separate.
What is the mouse event for that?
Mouse, for mouse they have different events like mouse in, mouse over, mouse out. They have three events. Okay, for keyboard they have key up, key down, key press,
Okay,
and also for keyboards they have some a few other like focus in, focus out.
focus in,
Okay,
focus. Correct.
so I haven't listed down because we are not using this in our project, we are using key up. Okay,
That's why I saw that there's this key up.
key up, yeah.
That's why I got a question.
Yeah, every event has some very minor differences, but mostly the like name suggests like very obvious thing. And focus out, like said, it's related to keyboard. But for example, when I'll try focus out. Okay, okay. Normally the focus out relates to input element. Okay, like input box.
Hmm.
What I do is I'm going to put an input box here. Input type text. Okay, the script. Okay, so when you focus out, you trigger this one. Okay, I mean here.
Focus in.
Okay, focus in. When I focused out, and that's trigger this one, and you get this one. Okay, yeah. So there is a event called change. Okay, this event gets called when you type in something and the value of this input box gets changed. Okay, so the change is applicable only for all the input elements, like input box, input selection, combo box, all those boxes. Okay, so when an value gets changed from old value to new value, you get this. Okay, as a tab, I press tab, then it gets fired. It doesn't get fired when you type something, but when you move out from that box, it gets fired. Okay, that's when the change even gets fired. So these are the main important thing, and in my experience, I've seen these are the events gets repeatedly used in projects. Okay, so then traversing between the DOM elements.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
Uh, for this illustration, we will create few more tags. There, class hello box border 1 pixel solid hello padding 10 pixel. Then create a white box. Okay, white box. Then create a pure. Okay,
Mm,
so what I've done, out we have a red box, inside we have yellow box and white box,
mm.
just for the illustration purpose. So let's see first what's parent. I mean, you know these things, but just we'll play around with the hands-on experience. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get the yellow box and get the parent of yellow box. The parent of yellow box is red box. I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to comment out all the console thing. So J dollar. I need to get the yellow box. Okay. So yellow box is yellow box class dot parent. Okay. Now this is red box. So just to show you its red box, I'm going to add a console log. Okay, so you can see length 1. Okay, so in jQuery normally whenever you get something, okay, you normally check the length. If it is length is 0, then your query is some wrong or the element is not there. Okay, so we have length 1, so it means that we have one element, and you can't see further information here in the print, but you can always do the prop. You can check the property class red box. So we got the red box, we got the parent.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's see how to get the children. Same thing but in the reverse. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the red box and I'm going to get the children, and you can see length is 3. Why it's 3? Because 1 2 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so length is 3, so it means that we got 3, and after this we can do whatever we want with these 3 tags. Okay, if you want to get some value or if you want to assign something, there's a next step. And also we can get the first children, second children, lost children from the children we got. Okay,
Mm.
first. Okay, now what this gets a yellow box. Okay, this gets a yellow box from the children. We're getting the first children, and you can see length is 1, so we got 1. And then for testing we are getting the prop yellow box because the first child. Also we have lost white box. Okay, and we have again we have so many APIs to do like this. We have nth child. Okay, nth child, first child, second child. There's so many APIs like that, but these are the most frequent ones. And also we have find. The find is this this traversal will work only if you know the structure, okay? Because we it's a simple structure, so we knew it. But in the dynamic case, or if we don't know the structure, normally we use find, okay? Because under red box, we don't know what are the boxes are there, so we just simply search for, is there any yellow box? Is there any yellow box? Find yellow box. Yeah, we got it. Okay, then we try to find, for example, black box. No, we don't have. So like this, okay, we try to find an element under a master, under a parent one. Okay, I think this pretty much, these are the APIs normally we use for traversing. Okay, to go upwards we use parent, to go downwards we use children, and then to based on the number we use either first, second, and nth child, and last. And if you don't know anything, if you don't know the structure, we use find. Okay, then these are the DOM methods used for manipulations. Now so far we have seen like where we just get the element to do something, but after we once get the element, these are the APIs we use to change the attributes or set some value or set some HTML elements inside the element and something like that. Okay, we'll see each one now. Cancel it. So for first append, so now we have two boxes. Okay, now I'm going to add third green box. Okay, so how normally I do is J dollar. My preferred way is normally I get the parent box. Okay, red box dot. Okay, append div style border 1 pixel solid green padding 10 pixel. Okay, so we just select the red box and just append this HTML into it. So now in the HTML, even though we can't see it, but you have the third element here. Okay, if you right click it, inspect, and you can see yellow box, white box, and there is a green box here. Okay, go to script again. Oh, but that's fine. That's fine. Okay, okay. So far we have seen append, you will see the append to is just the reverse. Okay, append to is we have a HTML this to that. Okay, so we have a HTML. Okay, and we have a green box. Then we append to J dollar red box. Okay, so we append that to red boxes. That's the difference. This is just a reverse way. Okay, so now we have empty. Empty is when you want to empty whatever inside that box. Okay, so you do this J dollar red box. Now we got red box. Then if you do empty, it just empties everything with just one liner. Okay, then you have yes. This is a comparison operator. Okay, yeah. So if you want to compare two elements, okay, it will be useful. Normally in this is a simple case, so you won't see much useful of it. But when you do big projects and you manipulate with different elements here and there, you pass from one application to another application, and if you want to compare like the two elements are same, then you will use this. Okay, is what I'm going to do is I'm going to get red box. Okay, and I'm going to compare it with J dollar div. I'm going to console log. Okay, because I got a div console, right? I got a div. Okay, and then I'm just comparing with the red box. Both are true, so it's both the same, so it's giving the true. Okay, so this is a comparison operator. And then you have two APIs to get the properties of every element. You have We have already seen prop, and there is one more attribute. There is a difference between attribute and prop. So attribute is used to get the values whatever you see in the HTML. In the HTML, see, you can see class here, style. You can see only these two attributes here. Okay, so that's, you can see only two attributes. So that will be, you can obtain that using at API. The prop API is used to get these values apart from, there are some hidden values for each every elements, so you can use that to get those values as well. Okay, let's see how to do that. Yeah, only one particular attribute we will use, either attribute or a prop. Okay, because a prop is the collective thing. It will be used to get whatever the visible one as well as the hidden one, but attribute is just only for the visible one. So I would say most of the developers I've seen use prop for everything. Okay, dot red box dot, I'm going to use attribute class red box. Okay, and if I use prop, again same. Okay, but using prop, I can get some more values like a tag name, div, and also if I use style, we will get so many styles. See how many I'm getting. I'm getting all the hidden styles as well. But if I use attribute, I will get only the style what I supplied in the HTML. So that's the difference. Attribute is used to get only whatever in the HTML element. So prop is the superset. All right. Okay. So that's the difference. And then toggle class. Okay. So to illustrate this, I'm going to include a new class here. Okay, which is I'm going to say that display none. So this is a new class which is used to display hide a box. And in this one, again, I'm going to select our favorite box, red box, and I'm going to toggle class. I'm going to supply hide. Okay, so it's a class, so I need to supply dot. So what happens? This one applies the hide property, hide class to the red box. So now it's got hidden. Then again, if I do this one more time, it appears again. Why? Because this toggle class, how it works is, if it's not there, it applies. If it is there, it removes. Okay. On the first line, it doesn't have, so it applies. On the second line, it already has because we just applied, it removes. So that's the purpose of toggle. So then text HTML. See, we have white box here, right? What I'm going to do, I'm going to put your name inside this J dollar dot white box. We selected white box, and I'm going to put text. Can you see Sajal? So I've used what I've used text. So I can put only text. Okay. If you want to put HTML element like this span, okay, what happened? It treated that HTML as a text itself. So in that case, if you put HTML, then you need to use the HTML. So now you get only that element. And if you see, oh no, if I inspect it, then it loses this page. Okay, what happens is it inside this div tag, it put the span tag, so it rendered as a span because we used the HTML API. So in essence, if you put the text value, use text. If you use HTML values, you use HTML. Okay, the last one is val for this. So val is used only for the input elements. Okay, so this is not an input element. These all div span everything is an output element. You output something, but input tag, mostly the input tag, because in the input tag you can get the text format, date format, combo box. You get everything, right? So all the input formats is uh, input elements. We can use value. For that, I'm going to create a input box text. Okay, so in the script, I'm going to get the input element, and I'm going to get the value from the input element, and I'm going to print it. So it's not printing because we don't have any value. I'm going to print my name. Oh, this is input, right? Hmm. Okay, so we have a synchron value here, and when we select the input tag and use val, then what it does is it gets the value inside the input box and prints it here. If you want to override that, okay, if you put like sajal, can you see it's changed? The next one is animation methods. There are two methods, show and hide, which is obvious. You can show or hide a element when you select using the jQuery selector. Then you can apply these two API to do this bit of animations. If you pass a number in show or hide, it takes that many interval to apply this animation. Okay, then there are some utility methods. Like I said, we are just covering only the most frequently used methods. This parse HTML is very similar to the HTML one, what we use, which we have used earlier. That's all. We have covered all the most frequently used techniques in jQuery. Thank you.